Hello everyone, again here Sahu sir with a new topic and very important topic. So today we are going to discuss about a developing country, developing countries and its characteristics, developing countries and its characteristics. So this is the topic we are going to discuss with you. I hope you will understand the topic perfectly. Let me start the topic. But before going to the topic, developing countries, first we should know some sort of basic information. That is, the countries are divided on the basis of GNI per capita income. The countries are divided into on the basis of GNI per capita income, right? And they used to be differentiate like this. Number one, low income countries, low income countries, and number two, middle income countries, middle income countries, and number three, I will write it little bit downwards. Why? Because I will tell you. And next, upper income countries, upper income countries. So three types of countries which has been divided on the basis of GNI per capita income. Low income countries. What is the GNI per capita income? The GNI per capita income is US dollar 1035 below. 1035 below. Okay, na? 1035 below, they used to comes under the low income countries. $1035 of GNI per capita income is below, then we used to call it as a low income countries. Regarding in the middle income countries, again they have differentiated into two types. Okay, na? That is low middle low middle income low middle income countries, and next upper upper middle income countries. So they have divided into two, low middle income countries and upper middle income countries. So what is their GNI per capita income is determined? Let us see. Under the low middle income countries, GNI per capita income is US dollar 1036 to 4085. If the GNI per capita income is 1036 to 4085 US dollars, then we used to treat it as a low middle income countries. What about the upper middle income countries? So here there is US dollars 4086 to $12,615. If the GNI per capita income is, if the GNI per capita income is 4086 to $12,615, then they used to treat it as a upper middle income countries. In the same way, upper income countries. So their income is US dollar 12,616 above. If their GNI per capita income is $12,616 above, then we used to call it as a upper income countries, right? So this is the classification of countries on the basis of GNI per capita income, right? So most probably here low income countries, we usually can call it as, okay na, under under developing countries, under developing countries. In the same way, middle income countries, we used to call it as a developing countries. We can call it as a developing countries. Next, upper income countries, we used to call it as a developed countries. Developed countries, isn't it? So we are discussing about the developing countries. So what is this developing countries also called as? Developing countries are also called as middle income countries with the GNI per capita income of between $1,036 to $12,615. Then we used to call it as a developing country. Okay na? So let us start the characteristics and developing countries related some sort of information we will discuss, right? So what is the topic? Developing countries, developing countries. Okay. So first of all, we should compulsory go through with the introduction. Okay na? So what is this introduction we have to write? Earlier I told you, developing developing countries are also called as okay na, middle income countries, middle income countries, where their GNI per capita income is between GNI per capita income is between US dollars 1,036 to $12,615. Then we used to call it as a developing country. Most probably developing countries are agricultural based countries, because they used to completely depend upon the agriculture. Their primary source is nothing but the agriculture. That's why we used to call it as a agricultural based countries, or also we used to call it as low income countries, also we can call it, as well as backward countries also we used to call it, right? So this is relating to the introduction to the developing countries, right? We should remember the census here. Each and every census you have to remember, and compulsory you have to write those census in the examination also, because based upon the census you will get the marks. I'm not telling that census should be written accurately, but the census can be written approximate. You can write the census, but the thing is you have to write the census out there. This you have to keep it in your mind. Okay now. And next, in developing countries, the problem is here life expectancy rate. Okay na? Life expectancy rate. Actually, what is this life expectancy rate? How many years a person lives, right? How many years a person is living? The lifetime of a person, right? So most probably life expectancy rate is very less, right? Most probably 60 to 70 years the person lives, but in developed countries they used to live up to 95, 96, 98, 99 also they used to live it. but in our country 60 to 70 years. Next, the another one, infant mortality, infant mortality rate, right? Infant mortality rate, this is related to death of a infant below 1 year. Infant, who is infant below 1 year is called as an infant. Mortality means death. So death of a infant below 1 year, okay na, this is very very more, approximately, okay na, nearly 30 per thousand live births we used to see in developing country. In the same way, literacy rate is also very less compared to the developed countries, because developed country they used to live for they used to have the literacy rate of 99.9 percentage, but the developing country they used to have only 74 percentage is the literacy rate which we used to see, right? So this is some points which we used to see under the developing countries. After this, we will discuss the characteristics of developing countries. Okay now, characteristics of developing countries. Characteristics of developing countries we will see one by one. Under that, number one, which is given out as low per capita income. Low per capita income. So you know very well the low per capita income. What is per capita income? Average income of a individual. Average income of a individual, which is called as a per capita income. Whereas in our countries, the per capita income is very very less. Okay now, when it is been compared according to 2012 and 13, the per capita income is given out as 22,000. But in the year 2018 it has been decreased to 7,080. It has been decreased. So this is a very 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 least per capita income which we used to see it in the developing countries. Whereas in the developed countries, okay na, whereas in the developed countries, their per capita income, most probably their per capita income is nothing but purchasing power is also, right? Developed countries like USA, their purchasing power is 63,690. In the same way, UK, that is $45,350. Okay na, this has been taken out in the dollars most probably, right? In the same way, right, China, their per capita income or purchasing power is 18,170. So when we are comparing the purchasing power from India as well as the developed country, we can see it is a very 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 less, right? In the same way, in the developing country, if you see the HDI rank, what is this HDI rank? Human Development Index, which is being calculated under the UNDP. Okay na? United Nations Development Program has taken out the initiation of HDI, Human Development Index, and on the basis of that HDI, they used to create some sort of ranks. And India rank is 110th rank out of 133, okay na, countries. Out of 133 countries, our rank is 110, means where we are and what is our position, you can almost check out this information. So basically HDI rank is very less. And how they used to calculate HDI rank? They used to calculate on the basis of life expectancy rate, infant mortality rate, as well as quality of life. Quality of life. They used to calculate the HDI rank, which is 1/10th rank of India out of 133 countries. This is number one, low per capita income. Right. Next, number two we will discuss. Number two is predominance predominance of agriculture. Predominance of agriculture. In the initial I told you, developing countries, right? Developing countries compulsory they used to depend most on agriculture, because agriculture is the primary source. Agriculture is the primary source to national income as well as the GDP. So here about 16.5 percentage is contributing by agriculture towards GDP. Okay, na? Towards GDP according to 2019 and 20. In the same way, according to 2017, about 42.7 percentage or two-third of population are depending on agriculture because they were getting the employment. Or agriculture is generating the employment about 42.7 percentage or two-third of employment is being generated, and the population is depend upon the agriculture, and here it is been more okay na? So two-third of population depend upon the agricultural employment, because agriculture is providing the employment most probably. In the same way, the another problem of the agriculture is in agriculture we used to use labor intensive technique. What is this labor intensive technique? The agriculture is being done with the help of the labors, and capital intensive technique is completely absent. Right? So they were getting more and more work is being done with the help of the labors, right? As well as they were following the traditional and old methods. Are followed. So even now the farmers are using the plough as well as the cows in the agriculture, right? So modern techniques are not till now taken out or received by the agriculture in developing countries. Still they were following the labor intensive technique. Okay now everybody, right? Next, in the same way, in agriculture most probably 45 percentage have irrigation facility. Just 45 percentage they used to have it. And what about remaining depends on monsoons. When the rainy season, if the rain comes, then only they used to do the agriculture, otherwise leave it. right? So this is one of the biggest problem which has been faced by the developing country, especially in reference to India. We have discussed here, right? Next, number 3 is determined as capital deficiency. Capital deficiency. Very, very carefully listen. Capital deficiency is related to capital formation. Capital formation, right? So, what is capital formation? Capital formation. Capital formation is okay na, creation of assets, creating the assets or stock of assets, creating the stock of assets by the help of or with the help of okay na, income income and savings. Income and savings, it is nothing but okay na, if the income is more, automatically savings will be more. So where the people they used to save the money? In the bank only na. So what happens in the bank? Deposits will be more. When the bank get the more deposits, then what the banks will do? They used to convert the deposits into loan. More the deposits, more the loan. Due to that, what happens? Capital and investment is created. Investment is created. But in our country, what is the problem? Our income levels are less because most of the income are generated, most of the income is generated from agriculture, okay na, which is less, so less the income, less the savings, less the deposits, less the loan. Due to that, capital and investment is also very, very less. So in our country, if you compare the capital formation, what is this capital formation? Let us see here. When it is been compared with the developed countries, right? So most probably USA, which is capital formation as the percentage to GDP, that is according to 2018, it is 21 percentage. In the same way, UK, how much according to 2018? It is 17 percentage. Okay na? Whereas in our country, according to 2017 and 18, GDS, that is gross domestic savings, how much? 30.1 percentage, as well as gross domestic investments. How much it is? 32.3 percentage only. Okay na? So this is the gross domestic savings as well as the gross domestic investments which we used to see. Right? This is number 3. Next we will discuss number 4. Number 4 is technological, right? Backwardness, right? Let us discuss this topic. So under the developing countries, the most problem is okay na, still we are using the labor intensive technique. Still we are using the labor intensive technique. We are following the traditional and we are following the old and absolute methods, for the agriculture, in agriculture as well as in the industry, also. So we are using very poor techniques of production. So due to these poor techniques of production, what is the effect here? The effect is nothing but most probably production the production will be less, as well as the cost of production will be more. Due to that, they used to suffer the losses, because if the cost of production is more, what happens? The price is also more. If the price is more, then what happens? The demand will be less. And if the price is more and the demand is less, due to that, what happens? They used to suffer some sort of losses, isn't it? So capital intensive technique leads to decrease in the cost of production, and more production they can generate, as well as with a less price they can sell the goods, but it is completely absent in the developing countries, right? Next, number 5 is inadequate infrastructural facilities, right? In our country, this is another problem which we used to see it as inadequate infrastructural facilities. What is this infrastructural facilities means? Infrastructural facilities are nothing but roads, dams, bridges, okay na, communication, right? Electricity, right? Transportation, okay? Insurance, banking, schools, education, hospitals are less, okay na? In our country, these are all completely very less, okay na? So more and more these kind of infrastructural facilities are needed. If a country want to be developed, definitely they have to acquire these kind of facilities compulsorily, otherwise it cannot be comes under the development, okay na, right? Next one is number 6 we will discuss, that is demographic features. Demographic features. So what is this demographic features? Let us see. Demographic features, actually it is related to birth rate and death rate. Actually demographic features which is related to the birth rate and which is related to death rate, okay na? What happened here? In developing countries, okay, birth rate is more and death rate is less. In developing countries, birth rate is more and death rate is less. Due to this, what happens? This is called as the population explosion, we used to call it. This is called as the population explosion, we used to call it, right? Because birth rate is increasing tremendously, but death rate is not at all decreasing, right? So another problem here is, okay na, density of population. What is this density of population? Let us see. Under this density of population determines as average persons, okay na, living per square kilometer. How much the persons living per square kilometer, right? So here in India, according to 2006, it has been determined as 373 people living per square kilometer. Means 1 square kilometer, how much persons are living? Okay, now this is India, about 373 people living per square kilometer. That is in USA. USA, according to 2006, it has been determined as, okay, na, 33 people, 33 people, okay, na, living per square kilometer, per square kilometer. In the same way, China, according to 2006, how much? 141 people living per square kilometer. Did you understand here? The density of population. So, in India, the density of population is been very, very more. Right? So, this is number 6. Let us discuss the number 7th point, that is high rate of illiteracy. High rate of illiteracy. Okay, na? So most probably, what is this literacy? So how much a educated persons, which we used to see it, let us see here. Okay, na? On the basis of, on the basis of uh, literacy rate, according to 2011, the literacy rate of India, the literacy rate of India is 74 percentage. Under that, male literacy rate is how much? Just here 82 percentage is the male literacy rate, and female literacy rate. Female literacy rate is 65.5 percentage. Right? So you can recognize here. What is the difference here? Female literacy rate is less, whereas male literacy rate is more. But in the developed countries, almost okay, na, in the developed countries, in the developed countries, right? Almost they used to have 99.9 percentage literacy rate. 99.9 percentage literacy rate, whether it is the male or whether it is the female, they used to have the 99.9 literacy rate, we used to see, right? So this is related to the literacy rate. Next we will discuss about point number 8, a dualistic, okay, na, dualistic economy. Dualistic economy. So what is this dualistic economy? Let us see. So in developing countries, okay, na, in developing countries, they used to follow the dualistic character. Dualistic character. Right? What is this dualistic character? We will see. First of all, on the basis of economy, our economy, we used to follow the dualistic pattern. What is our economy? Our economy is a mixed economy system. Yes or no? Mixed economy system. What is it? It is a mix of socialistic and capitalist economy system we have been following. Economy system we have been following, right? That is why it is a dualistic nature, right? Next, in terms of production, okay, now here also they used to have labor intensive and intensive capital intensive techniques they used to follow. In the same way, in an economy, if you take out the sector, we used to follow agricultural sector, we used to follow industrial sector, as well as we used to follow the service sector. Mean three sectors we used to follow. But the developed countries, they used to follow either capitalist, and they used to follow capital intensive technique, as well as developed country they used to follow industrial or service sector, but we are following many. In the same way, in the finance, we used to have organized, organized and unorganized, unorganized sectors we used to have it. So these many of dualistic pattern if we used to follow, then economic development is not possible. Economic development is not at all possible. This is how we used to determine as a dualistic economy. Anyone you follow, but if you follow many, then none can be achieved. Right? Next, point number 9 we will discuss. Point number 9 says as underdeveloped, underdeveloped natural, underdeveloped natural resource. Right? So what is this underdeveloped natural resource? Let us see. Most probably in developing countries, we have a abundance of natural resource is available. Abundance of natural resources available. More and more natural resources are available. But what is the problem? The natural resources are unexploited, or unused. Okay, na? Because if we use natural resources, if you use more, then more production can be done. Right? And due to the more production, unemployment problem as well as poverty problems can become very less, because due to the lack of using of natural resources and due to the unexploitation of natural resources, we are suffering the problem here. Right? Even in underdeveloping country and developing country, lot of resources are available, but most those resources are unused. Right? If the resources are used properly and if the production is being done correctly, definitely we used to have the economic growth as well as literacy problems, poverty problems, everything can be reduced. But it is not at all happening in our country. Right? Next, number 10. Number 10 is lack of entrepreneurship. Lack of entrepreneurship. So what is this entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is nothing but entrepreneurs, the persons who used to establish the industry by bringing the innovations during the process of production. Right? So to establish the new industry, first of all the government has to enable some sort of schemes. But the problem is in our country the schemes are very less, and capital is unavailable. Capital is unavailable to new business persons. Capital is not unavailable to the new business persons. Government should give the help for the purpose of capital, but they were not giving any sort of capital, and the capitals are not being perfectly distributed to the new business persons who want to establish the new industry. In the same way, the next problem is there is no proper of infrastructure. There is no proper of infrastructure facilities also. Right? Road facility, communication facility, electricity facility. In the previous we have discussed now, these facilities are also minimum facilities are not available to the entrepreneur. Then how they can establish the industry? The country can be developed Absolutely not. The government should give the support. The government should give encouragement to the new business persons for the establishment of the industry. But the government is neglecting. Clear, everybody? Right? So these are some sort of 10 points we have been discussed under this characteristics of developing country. I hope you are understanding the points, and compulsory do let me know if any suggestions or queries you have. Please subscribe to the channel for more information. Okay, now? Thank you so much.